always ours was the proud land of our fathers. It belongs to us and them, not to any of the others. Let them go, boys, let them go, boys. Let them go down in the mud, the rivers all dry.
Shane MacGowan was born in Pembury, Kent, on Christmas Day 1957, while his Irish parents were on a trip to England visiting relatives. After coming out of hospital, he spent the first few weeks of life sleeping in a drawer, as the only cot in his aunt's home was already in use. In later years, Shane would view Christmas Day as the birthday of Jesus first before his own. For his first 6 years he and the family lived in County Tipperary before moving back to England around the time his little sister Siobhan was born. The story goes that Shane started on the booze aged 5 when a member of the family gave him some Guinness to help him sleep. He would often be with his father in the local pub, getting acquainted with the alehouse from a young age. Sean's father Maurice was from Dublin, and his mother from Tipperary. It's likely his mother passed the creative gene to Shane, having previously been a singer, Irish dancer and model in her younger years. Shane attended the exclusive Homewood House prep school between the ages of 7 and 13, but he didn't like school, feeling he didn't fit in with those around him. Despite that, he developed a keen interest in literature, including James Joyce and Dostoevsky, even winning a literary contest aged 13. Music was important to Shane from a young age, and by 12 he already had a substantial record collection with mixed influences including the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Cream, and Pink Floyd to name but a few. His sister reports that when Jimi Hendrix died, Shane lay staring at the wall for the better part of 24 hours, grieving in his own way. As his formative years continue, he becomes a voracious reader of music mags such as NME. The mischief was with Shane from a young age, and despite receiving a scholarship to Westminster School, he was expelled by his second year for smoking weed around the school gates with some other boys. He tried art college for a while, but it seems Shane was chasing a calling he couldn't quite find, so soon enough, art college was out also. The ever-present in his life was always drugs and booze. Shane spent 6 months in Bethlehem Psychiatric Hospital between the ages of 17 and 18 dealing with drug addiction issues. During his stint in Bethlehem he was also diagnosed with acute anxiety. Following his heart into music, Shane spent some time working in the Rocks Off record store in London, and had his own fanzine under the pseudonym Shane O'Hooligan. His first public exposure, by accident rather than design, came in 1976 when he was featured in NME following a Clash concert. His ear was cut, resulting in a face covered in blood, which was caught by a photographer, resulting in the headline, "Cannibalism at Clash Gig." Not long after, Shane and a friend, bassist Shanna Bradley, formed the punk band The Nipple Erectors, with Shane on vocals. They played their first gig at the Roxy Club in London in 1977, but the Nips eventually parted ways at the end of 1980, which included band member John Moss subsequently forming Culture Club with a 20-year-old boy George, who shared some of the same regular haunts as Shane's wider circle of friends and acquaintances. By 1982 Shane co-founded the New Republicans, which soon became Pogue Mahone, in King's Cross, London. Original band members included friend Jem Finer, Peter Stacey, and soon after, James Fernley. The name Pogue Mahone was derived from the totemic novel, Ulysses, by James Joyce, originating, it's believed, from the Irish phrase, Pog Mohoin, meaning, kiss my ass. Later, of course, the band name was shortened to simply, the Pogues. Troubled history of the Irish had a strong influence on his songwriting, as Shane would later tell us in his biography, Rake at the Gates of Hell. Critical success for the band came in 1985 with Rum Sodomy and The Lash, and again in 1988 with the album, If I Should Fall from Grace with God.
I truly believe that, as I said on my radio show, I truly believe that 100 years from now, most of us will be forgotten. But I do believe that Shane's music is going to be remembered and sung.
In between these albums, in 1987, Shane and Jem Finer co-wrote Fairytale of New York, recorded as a duet with English singer-songwriter Kirsty MacColl. It would become, by a long way, their best-known song. The quintuple platinum Irish folk ballad remains a Christmas favorite, regularly voted the best Christmas song of all time. It was released in November 1987, and kept at number 2 in the charts by Pet Shop Boys, Always on My Mind. Fairytale of New York has never been a UK number 1 single but has been number 1 in Ireland on more than one occasion. The video for the song was shot in New York in November 1987, including footage filmed in a lower Manhattan police station, where actor Matt Dillon plays the arresting officer. The video shows Shane playing the piano during the opening scenes despite the fact Shane couldn't actually play piano. The close-up footage is band member James Fernley playing, wearing Shane's rings. Incidentally, the NYPD doesn't have a choir, they have a pipes and drum band. They do feature in the video, but are playing a slowed-down version of the Mickey Mouse March, as they didn't have time to learn the music to the song. In more recent times the song has suffered various criticisms and censorship due to lyrics including slut, faggot and arse. Each and the other being replaced in various forms or another for different performances, including the BBC. Musician Nick Cave accused the BBC of mutilating the song, stating it would be stripped of its value. The excess of the 80s didn't miss Shane. By this point, apart from copious alcohol consumption, he was regularly dabbling with LSD, and soon enough a heroin addiction took hold. Being off his face so regularly resulted in ongoing calamities including being hit by cars, falls, fights, and all else in between.
Hours later, the bar's almost empty, everybody's gone, and I get a tap on the shoulder, and it's Shane MacGowan. And he says, "Oi, I need a place to stay." And I said, "You gotta be kidding me, 3 hours ago we were fighting on the floor." He said, "That was 3 hours ago, now I need a place to stay."
The Pogues performed other well-known songs written by Shane including Dark Streets of London, Rainy Night in Soho and Summer in Siam. 2 further albums were made featuring Shane, ending with Hell's Ditch in 1990. In 1991 Shane was sacked from the Pogues during a tour of Japan, the band no longer able to accept the negative impact his alcohol and drug consumption were having on performances. The Pogues continue without Shane, eventually breaking up in 1996 following the critical failure of their 7th and last album, Pogue Mahone. Following the Pogues, Shane got busy setting up his next band, naming it Shane MacGowan and the Popes, releasing 2 studio albums, The Snake in 1994 and The Crock of Gold in 1997. In 1997 Shane also featured in Lou Reed's charitable single Perfect Day for Children in Need. Shane and the Popes toured extensively for a number of years during this period, but health issues persisted for Shane including ulcers, and alcoholic hepatitis. It didn't stop his insatiable thirst for consumption however. Shane was arrested in November 1999 after Sinead O'Connor found him unconscious on her floor. Rightly alarmed, she called emergency services and Shane was eventually charged with heroin possession. Shane was initially angry with Sinead for calling the authorities, but as time passed, he understood Sinead was indirectly offering an intervention, later thanking her for the sentiment. Shane admitted possession and accepted a police caution. In 2001 the Pogues got back together, including Shane, who stayed with the band during various reunion shows before their final live performance in the summer 2014 in Brittany, France. An autobiographical book was released the same year, A Drink with Shane MacGowan, co-written with his ever-present partner in crime, Victoria Mary Clark. Trapped by the booze, Shane would regularly give interviews while drunk. Appearing in 2004 on the BBC show, This Week, he was generally incoherent and slurring throughout the program. Host Janet Street Porter wrote about it not long after, including the following: Shane arrived late, wearing a calico maternity smock and stained trousers, clutching a pint glass of what looked like brown milk, and a cigarette. The floor manager was too frightened to tell him smoking was banned and cowered in the corner of the room. When I asked Shane the big question, he looked blankly in the other direction, and made a strangulated moaning, followed by a couple of grunting noises.
Because I don't drink to get drunk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I drink to relax, you know?
By 2006 we would find Shane in the company of those cut from his own cloth, regularly spending time with Pete Doherty. He could also be found spending time with celebrity mates including Johnny Depp, who produced a feature documentary about Shane in recent years.
Because his laugh was, his mouth spread real wide, and then there's this, the tunnel, the cave.
Oh, Johnny Depp's American.
Surprising as it is, we've got this far in the film without mentioning Shane's trademark smile. As the images over the years tell us, he had bad teeth as an understatement, the last of his natural teeth bidding him farewell in 2008. Fast forward to 2015 and we find Shane enduring a 9-hour procedure, receiving a new set of gnashes, which formed the subject of a TV short called A Wreck Reborn. The new pearly whites included a gold tooth and required titanium implants. Continuing into 2009, Shane and Victoria starred in an RTE production, Shane Victoria Grow Their Own, which saw the couple attempt to grow food in their garden. This leads us into 2010 where Shane donates for auction an art piece to the Irish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children. A drawing he done on a living room door. The piece made the charity €1,600. Also in 2010, Shane formed a short-lived new band, the Shane Gang, with the 5-piece ending up in the music mecca of Lanzarote recording their album. Shane grew up within a strong Irish Republican family and counted Sinn Féin's Gerry Adams as a friend. In a filmed interview in 2015, Shane confirmed his support for Irish Republicanism, even stating his shame and regret that he didn't join the Republican Army, saying that forming the Pogues was a way of overcoming the guilt he felt. Self-inflicted ill health continued to pursue Shane, including a severe injury following a fall when leaving a Dublin recording studio in 2015. Shane broke his pelvis and never fully recovered from it, taking use of a wheelchair which he would continue to use for the rest of his life. The following year, after his hip and pelvis issues, and also contracting a serious case of pneumonia, Shane found some sobriety. In 2018, Shane was given a Lifetime Achievement Award for outstanding contributions to Irish life, music and culture. Soon after also receiving an Ivor Novello Inspiration Award. That same year he married Victoria Mary Clark, his long-term partner. Shane even managed a brief return to the stage in 2019 at the Royal Dublin Arena. Chrissie Hynde was performing with the Pretenders and invited Shane for a guest appearance. In December 2022, Shane was hospitalized for an infection which was diagnosed as viral encephalitis, but was unamused by his hospital stint as he couldn't get a drink in him. Despite the best efforts of his enduring wife Victoria, Shane just couldn't escape the addictive pull of alcoholism. Come summer 2023, Shane was back in hospital once again, this time in intensive care for an infection. It was widely expected death could be imminent and many friends and celebrities made their way to visit him while he was in hospital. Shane remained there and fought on for 4 months before eventually being discharged back home on the 23rd of November. A week later Shane received the last rites and passed away from pneumonia, at home, with Victoria by his side. He was 65 years old.
In a way, but Shane was an incredibly kind, sort of generous, pure spirit.
A horse-drawn parade took Shane's coffin through the fan-lined streets of Dublin, and on the 8th of December, hundreds of people gathered outside St. Mary of the Rosary Church in County Tipperary for the funeral service. Attendees included Gerry Adams, Bob Geldof, Nick Cave and Johnny Depp among others. Irish singers Glenn Hansard and Lisa O'Neill performed a rendition of Fairytale of New York to a singing and dancing crowd. The song returned to #1 in the Irish charts that same weekend. Irish President, Michael Higgins, was in attendance and paid tribute to Shane as one of music's greatest lyricists.
I turned my face away and dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one, came in 18 to 1. I've got a feeling this year's for me and you. So happy Christmas. I love you, baby. I can see a better time when all our dreams come true.
When I first read Shane's words in lyric form, of course, I recognized that there was someone of great value with regards to. He's an invincibly born poet, and he would never be able to shake that. That would never go away. So that was apparent to me from just reading through his words. When I met him, I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I didn't know if he would be sort of welcoming, or if he was gonna, take a swat at me. But it was worth it either way. Luckily, he didn't swat at me. But I think the nature of our friendship relationship is that I respect him. I respect him. I admire him. I love him, obviously. I worship him wholly and completely. There's nothing but kindness and wisdom in his mind and in his heart.